Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to do a playthrough of Dragonfire. Yes, Dragonfire, this is a game that has been out for a while. I actually had it on my sale pile just a week ago. Okay? And then my friend Terrence, as I told him I put it on my sale pile, he was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? I really like this game. You should try it again." I pulled it out again and I remembered how much I enjoy it. I know that Mike and Peter aren't big fans of this one. I am definitely a fan. I've always loved Shadowrun Crossfire, and I always thought, this one just wasn't as good. And I still think Shadowrun Crossfire is definitely better for short games, but for that really fun, highly tactical, card-based game, I really am enjoying this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do our setup video. We are going to start the campaign. Why not? We're going to do the Ancient Evil Arises. I picked out my 4 characters. They've already gone through the dungeon crawl one time and is 1. So they all got 1 magic item. You can kind of see them. I have them on top of each of their decks. And they gained 5 XP. I did also provide a little thematic background for each one of them, so I'll do that as well so you guys know why this party of 4 is journeying together. If you want to just jump into the playthrough, feel free to just check out the next video. Let's start. Our first character is Leia, our fighter. She loves the forest. She grew up in the city, but ended up going out into the forest and spends most of her time hunting with her bow. One time, she actually almost shot one of our other characters, Vin. She was lucky enough before she released that bow that she discovered that Vin was a gnome, not a hare that she was trying to kill and eat. After saving Vin, she asked Vin if she'd like to journey with her, just out of courtesy, and Vin actually said yes, and that's how those two met. Now you can see here we get to add 1 market slot, so normally we'd have 6 slots, but because we're playing with Leia, we will have 7 slots. This is her starting deck. The only addition is she did get this common item, strength, which we can consume to add +1 colorless to all non-basic martial cards when you play this turn. Kind of a cool ability. She also has the ability Outlander. Once per game during your turn, you can discard 1 card to heal 1 HP. You can see here she'll start at 7 health, and she has a total of 4 money that she can use at the start of the game, and her hand size at the beginning is 3. Vin here has lived her entire life out in the forest. One day she was picking berries from a thorn bush and she got caught. She was stuck in it. And it was over 2 hours. It was quite embarrassing. It's not something that a gnome normally has as a problem. All of a sudden she heard the twang of a bow and she thought, and realized it was Leia. Fortunately for her, Leia realized that Vin was a gnome, not a hare, and so came and actually rescued Vin. Once Leia pulled Vin out of the thorn bush, Vin decided, you know what, Leia seems awesome. She saved me. I'd like to follow and journey with her. Now, Vin has a hermit ability because she does normally live alone in the forest. It says once per game, you can exchange 1 gold to draw a card. She starts out with no XP, hand size of 6 though, you guys, which is awesome, 6 health. She has, 4 green, 2 red, 2 blue, and a color spray to start her deck. And her 1 item she has is a healing herb. You can heal any character 1 HP. And this says consume. So what that means is when we use this card, it's gone for the rest of the game. We'll have to, or not the game, the rest of the campaign. We'd have to find it again to use it. Here we have Feliz. Feliz has known Leia her entire life. They basically grew up together. They're like sisters. As they grew older, they did drift apart for a while, as Feliz loved the city. She could go anywhere she wanted and get anything that she wanted because she was so good at manipulating people. Leia, of course, decided that the forest was much more for her, so most of the time they don't see each other. As I said, Feliz is great at getting what she wants with little to no bloodshed. That's all that she's about. And she has a ton of contacts all around the city. Leia and Feliz recently just met up again, and Feliz also told her about one of her contacts, Blaze, who we'll meet in a second, who can help them on their journey. Feliz's ability is haggling, so when you purchase a card that costs 6 or more, gain 1 gold. She has actually used her 5 XP. The other 2 characters have not. They're saving it for a level 10, hopefully, if I can win this game. She only starts with 2 cards in hand, 8 health. She starts though with 5 money. And yeah, I'm going to use these coins because I like that way better than the cardboard chits. And then you can see this is her deck as well, so a lot of stealth, which makes sense. I also love her quote. "You need a sword and a shield? I only need a smile and a bit of time." Oh yeah, and I need to remember, she got a potion. Consume, 1 encounter must save, and if they fail, she can deal 3 damage to it. Cool. Finally, we have Blaze. So Blaze doesn't talk too much, which is why he's good friends with Feliz, since Feliz does all the talking. She talks, he listens. He also listens to all the banter of the city, and on more than one occasion he's given Feliz some very helpful intel, the whole reason Feliz sees him as a very good contact. He loves to read and spend time learning about the arcane, and he dabbles in spellcasting as well. Feliz knows he'll be super helpful on this journey, and so brings him in to the group to make a party of 4. He only starts with 2 cards as well. He is a warlock. He does start with 4 money. He has 8 health. He's a sage, so once per game during your turn you can exchange 2 colorless for 1 blue, which is nice. He also has a researcher ability. Once per game, replace an existing market card with a card from the market deck discard. His 1 card he has is also another healing card, so he got that one. And you can see 3 blue, 2 green, 1 martial, and 1 stealth. Now you're supposed to use those cardboard standees to show where your characters are on the board. I'm not doing that. I like miniatures. So I grabbed miniatures from Dungeon Alliance, and you can see I color-coded them based on the ring that's around their base. So this is Blaze. Over here we have Feliz. Over here, this one, since I don't have a black, consider that black even though it's yellow, that's going to be Leia. And then right here, that's Vin, which totally makes sense because Vin loves animals and nature. Why that matters is because in this game, unlike Shadowrun Crossfire, there's actual locations as encounter cards that can come out, and then we have to move to that location. If we're not in a location, we're all just in this general adventure environment, and we can all affect each other and attack each other's encounters. We're going to start off with the Wastes of Ancient Empire. Monsters and the bones of ancient empires litter the Desarian Valley, and somewhere in these wild lands, Lord Tellem's son, heir to the Tellem's hold near Waterdeep, is in dire straits. The Desarian Valley. Stunted brush and thorn-laden vines camouflage ancient foundations and work to reclaim broken towers. Burned land from a recent forest fire leaves charred bones for scavengers to pick through. Over a rise, hunting paths of the valley scavengers twist and turn through bare thickets and poisoned berry bush. Too much blood spilled here. That's the common wisdom, and you don't have to look far for evidence. Eyes watch from the deeper shadows of the wilderness. The carcasses of hunted animals rot next to a stream. In the shadows of the tumbled walls, it takes very little digging to find the remains of bronze shield facings, broken blades, maybe a few ancient coins, and fresh bones. The relics draw scavengers of all races and reasons, and once captured by the valley, very few seem to make it back out of their own volition. What drew Lord Tellem's son to this god-forsaken area? It's a question all of you are asking. Not that the answer really matters. After your heroic stand defending the village, word arrived from local nobility that Christos Tellem, heir to Tellem's hold up near Waterdeep, was overdue from an excursion through the valley. Not only Christos, but 8 guards, Quillan the Arcane, and Audrin, a local ranger, as guide. It would be in our interest and our beneficial gain were you to find the lost party. Duchess Dragonfire herself signed the parchment, making it as much in order as a request. But a single glance at the valley ahead guarantees one thing: it will be difficult traveling. We have our adventure setup. Use Wilderness 1 as the primary deck and Adventure 2 as the secondary deck. Place all encounter tokens next to the encounter deck, grouped by color, and start the Dragonfire level at -1. So what that means is we'll get to place this token on the Dragonfire deck, and our first round we don't have to draw one, which is super nice, and we're going to need that. Over here we have our Wilderness 1. We know it's Wilderness because of the icon, and we know it's the level 1 because there's only 1 symbol. These are our adventure cards, and they're adventure 2 because there's 2 symbols. And then this is our Dragonfire deck. So I'll shuffle this up off camera, but what we'll do is after I shuffle it, I'll place it like this and drop the -1 on there to help me remember you don't flip that for the first round. These 2 I'll also shuffle, each individually, and then flip them over like this as well, and they are encounters. The biggest thing you got to remember is, okay, the one on the left here is the Wilderness 1, and the Adventure 2 is on the right. For the encounters, we can see at the start of each scene, reveal encounters as indicated by the chart on the back. First, reveal encounters from the secondary deck, and that's the level 2 adventure deck, equal to the Dragonfire level. Then, if you still need to draw more encounters, reveal remaining encounters from the primary deck. Place the first revealed encounter facing the character whose class type color matches the encounter color, and distribute the rest to the left of that character. So just so you know, the order of characters is going to be Blaze, Leia, Vin, Feliz. Tokens stink. I'm just saying. This does not look like it's going to be a lot of fun. At the beginning of Scene 1, after all surprise effects are resolved, place tokens in front of each player for each non-location encounter facing them. Then place an additional token for each non-location encounter that matches the player's color. All encounter tokens created this way are not tied to any encounter card. Finally, any player facing 3 or more tokens, not counting ones from the cards, can draw a card. And then at the start of scene 2, you're going to do the same thing, except all non-card tokens are 1, 2, so they actually attack for 2 damage. And then same thing for the scene 3, except for they have 2 health. So what these icons mean is the colorless means it takes 1 colorless to defeat the token, and if you don't and they get to attack you, they attack you for 1. But these ones down here, they're going to take 2 colorless, and they're going to attack for 2. Those tokens stink. We see here on the back of this card that we have a total of 3 scenes. There will be, in the first scene, we reveal encounters equal to the number of characters. Since we have no Dragonfire cards in the discard pile, all of them will come from the primary deck, the level 1 deck. And then scene 2 and scene 3, we're going to add 1 additional enemy each. Very similar to the dungeon crawl. At the end of the scene, we'll do our regular short rest, which I'll show you when we get there. Hopefully we will. I will be honest, I don't know if I'm going to win this. From what I hear, this is a pretty challenging scenario, especially with those tokens. I mean, I barely won the dungeon crawl. I had 2 of my characters go fully exhausted, and I just pulled out the win. So I don't know if we're going to do it, but we'll try. Here we have our level 1 wilderness cards. We will start with flipping our first one. We have a Dryad. So it has a surprise effect. That means immediately we do it. It says Dispel Magic. If we had any magic items out, we're not strong enough to have that, but if we did, they'd immediately be dispelled. Because this is blue, this will go in front of Blaze. Great. So, okay, Blaze gets a blue encounter. That's going to mean he gets 2 tokens as well on his turn after we reveal the rest of these cards. This one is for Leia. Leia has an Orc Terranuk. Okay, it has abilities here, but no surprise. So we'll just place this out. That looks insane. Our next one is for Vin. Oh, it's another green adventure. We have a Knoll Pack. Ooh, and this one has tokens on it. So you can see it tokens 2. We have 2 of these tokens. I'll drop them on there right now. And what we have to do is, in order to do any damage to this Knoll Pack, we have to defeat these. They all just need 1 green damage to be able to defeat it. And as there are more cards in the Dragonfire discard pile, they might get might get stronger. Like these ones do 2 damage instead of 1. And this one states you have to have 2 greens to get rid of one of these. Okay, so that is on Vin, which is great. And then our final one for Feliz, we have a Displacer Beast. That's as a surprise. Each player places 4 cards from the top of their deck into their discard. If a player has fewer than 4 cards in their deck, they don't shuffle. Okay, I need to actually draw our hands, and then we'll do that. Blaze right now is facing a blue encounter, so he for sure gets 1 token, and he's going to get a second token because he has one that matches his color. And each of those are a 1/1, so they're 1 colors to defeat and 1 damage if we don't defeat them and they attack us. Leia only has 1 token because this character is green, thank goodness. Unfortunately for Vin, she's going to get 2 tokens, and Feliz is also going to get 2 tokens. So needless to say, it's going to be tough going right at the get-go. Let's go ahead and have each character draw their cards. So Feliz gets to draw 2 cards. So she will draw a Grace and a Stealth. And then she's going to discard 4 cards from the top of her deck and pop them in the discard pile. Oh man, all Stealth and her Potion. Vin here is going to go ahead and draw 6 beautiful cards. So she's got a Potion, she's got her Color Spray, a Grace, a couple Stealth, and another Grace. And then her remaining 4 cards go right into the discard pile. That actually is not a bad thing. That might actually help her. Leia here will go ahead and draw 3 cards, and she gets 2 Glories and 1 Cantrip. And then she will discard 4 out of the 5 remaining cards of her deck. Okay, so that means her Potion is right here. Lastly, we'll go to Blaze. He'll draw 2 cards. He gets a Glory, and I think he got his Potion. That's really not that great. And he'll take 4 cards and discard them. He has 2 cards left in his deck. Here we have our market of 7 cards. Remember, it's normally 6, but because of Leia and her ability, we get 7. We've got our Magic Missile, Confusion, Flaming Oil, Cure Wounds, Spirit Guardians. Oh man, 10 money, but looks amazing. Dual Wielding, and that is something I want to mention. I do have some of my cards I did put in here from expansions. You can put up to a total of 80 cards into the into the market deck. You always have to start with 60, the basic 60. And then you can choose to add up to 20 cards. It's 6 per player. So what I did is I added some from the most recent campaign box because I think they're cool. You can actually use money to do effects. And there's so many times when you've got money and you just need to defeat something so that you can win or you can get to that next encounter, but you can't use the money for anything. So I decided I wanted to try these that will actually give you a benefits if you use money. And then finally, Misty Step. Well, there you have it. That's the setup for the Waste of the Ancient Empire for Dragonfire. Hope you guys are excited. We're probably going to lose, but let's see how far we can go. I'll see you in the playthrough.